Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. The Democrat Party, otherwise known as the Party of Science. Am I right, folks? Right? Obviously not. It's the party of anti-science, the party of pseudoscience, the party that believes that men can get pregnant, the party that takes political rhetoric and talking points and disinformation campaigns as undeniable science, kind of like the whole horse pace thing from however many months ago, instead of actually doing real research of their own. And I don't know, doing stuff like taking a look at peer-reviewed studies. Well, the party of anti-science hits us once again, this time with Georgia Democrat gubernatorial candidate Stacey Abrams, who continues to develop her view on abortion in possibly the weirdest, most unscientific, and frankly, the most unstrategic way possible, at least in terms of getting elected. It seems as though she's running a campaign that maybe she should think before she speaks, but instead, she's diving directly into the most extreme radical left-wing positions, and now apparently justifying her increasingly more extreme view on the procedure with a totally unhinged, insane conspiracy theory that exposes just how heartless and totally void of compassion Democrats really are. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on here. Let's talk about what Stacey Abrams said. Let's talk about what Planned Parenthood is doing. And then, of course, let's talk about the implications when it comes to the gubernatorial election in the state of Georgia. Surprise, surprise, when it comes to political strategy, Democrats don't know what they're doing and don't know what they're talking about. I know, it's shocking. It's real surprising. We've got some stuff to get into, friends, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I've heard a whole lot of things. I've heard a whole lot of talking points. I have never heard this kind of conspiracy. Georgia Democrat Stacey Abrams says that there is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks, but rather it is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body.
There is no such thing as a heartbeat at 6 weeks. It is a manufactured sound designed to convince people that men have the right to take control of a woman's body away from her.
It's just a sound that's engineered or manufactured by the QAnon alien Russians who've infiltrated our planet and our society. What an absolutely unhinged conspiracy theory. I think is probably what most normal human beings are thinking, but certainly not the human beings at Planned Parenthood, who immediately took this talking point from Stacey Abrams and changed their own definition of a fetal heartbeat on their website literally the next day. Planned Parenthood quietly at its website about fetal development calls baby's heartbeat, quote, cardiac activity. Take a look at this, friends. A tweet from Ashley St. Clair. Planned Parenthood's website was quietly updated today to remove that a baby has a heartbeat at 5 to 6 weeks. Trust the science no matter how many times we change it to fit our narrative. What happens during week 5 to 6? A very basic beating heart and circulatory system develop. That was the old website. Now, a part of the embryo starts to show cardiac activity. It sounds like a heartbeat on an ultrasound, but it's not a fully formed heart. It's the earliest stage of the heart developing. But I have to admit, while I think this stealth edit is pretty bad from Planned Parenthood, it's not nearly as bad as what Stacey Abrams' implication was. The fact that it's somehow a manufactured sound just to make men believe that they have the ability to control women. What kind of nonsense is that? And of course, all the copium and BS justification is coming in from all of these leftoid activists that are trying to defend Stacey Abrams' indefensible claim. What she really meant to say, or what she really was saying, was that it's not actually a heart. No, you're right, it's just a cardiovascular system that's pumping blood through the embryo's body. What do we call that again? What's that the definition of? What's that describing? Oh yeah, a damn heart. Is it a fully fledged, fully developed human heart? No, but it's essentially the same thing. It's the first developing stage of that, and the sound isn't manufactured. It's a literal heartbeat, a pulse of blood circulating through the embryo, circulating through that little body, signifying life, giving it life, and allowing that body to grow and develop. These leftoids are unbelievable. When they don't get what they want, when they're losing the debate, when they're losing an argument, they just invent random pseudoscience nonsense and conspiracy theory. And then they have the audacity to claim that you're the party of anti-science, or the Republican Party is the party of anti-science, and the political group representing conspiracy theory. All they ever do is traffic nonsense conspiracy theory and anti-science or pseudoscience. I mean, they will literally say anything, regardless of how cold and heartless, regardless of how unscientific and ridiculous, as long as it leads to the political end that they desire. The ends almost always justify the means when it comes to political activism, rhetoric, or political campaigning. Of course, on the left side. It's just a bad look, and going back to Stacey Abrams and her unhinged conspiracy theory, it's a bad look. Again, this is something Democrats don't seem to understand. You look extreme. Stacey Abrams is actively campaigning, and so far it seems like she's making her entire campaign about abortion, except her view or her stance is getting increasingly more radical. This is an incredibly dumb political strategy, especially in the state of Georgia. Stacey Abrams' political image has gone from being a voting rights activist or anti-voter suppression, whatever all the nonsense she's talking about, to essentially being a post-Roe v. Wade abortion activist, where she regularly does interviews and refuses to name even a single limitation or restriction that should be applied to the medical procedure. That's extreme, and that represents an extreme minority of the population in terms of people that support that stance. And now she's saying stuff like this. I mean, how do you expect to get elected with this image, with this being at the forefront or being the centerpiece of your campaigning? It's a complete joke, especially when you look at the data. I mean, instantly what I thought is, what's the Georgia view on this medical procedure? There's no way it's even close to as liberal as it is in California. You Google abortion poll Georgia, and we see views on the issue among adults in Georgia. 48% believe that it should be legal in almost all cases. 49% believe it should be illegal. A majority of Georgia residents or Georgia adults do not support the procedure, and even the 48% that do, probably most of that support drops off after the first trimester, meaning Stacey Abrams is in the extreme minority and does not represent Georgia voters on this issue. In fact, even if you go based on religious groups and you take a look at historically black Protestant, it's still almost evenly split and there's no majority supporting her stance. So when you see articles like this from ABC News, black voters could push Stacey Abrams to victory in Georgia, will they? Probably not if this is her main campaigning slogan, that a fetal heartbeat is a manufactured sound used by men to control women. Absolutely stupid. In fact, it's stunningly stupid. All Stacey Abrams has to do is literally say nothing, and she'd probably be performing better in the polls. She's trailing big time, and most likely when we get the actual election results, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Stacey Abrams lose by 5 or 6 percentage points. The simple fact of the matter is we're seeing these Democrat candidates adopt more extreme messaging campaigns. We've covered Mandela Barnes, John Fetterman, and now Stacey Abrams, and they're all running in historically moderate states. It's not gonna work. Their stances are extreme, they're radical, abortion with no limits, defunding the police, releasing the prison population, justifying riots, violence, arson, targeting black communities when you don't get what you want politically. These are not winning campaign messages, and I just have a feeling that Democrats are going to have to learn this lesson, probably the hard way. But of course, that's just one man and one man's opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. That's what I got for you guys on this one. I'm going to get back to work. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.